This episode of Boss Rush After Dark is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support our family of podcasts, head over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia or search for us on the Patreon app on your smart device. Thanks for helping us build something better. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this Boss Rush After Dark. Obviously, I'm not LeBron. LeBron's internet went out. Yeah, what's poppin'?
His internet was not popping.
Should I put on a sleeveless shirt too?
Much.
You lost some weight. I bet you look good.
Nope, not yet.
I was trying to be complimentary.
When are you gonna wear the?
Someday. 55 pounds though. That's a lot. Yeah, it's a chore. Let me tell you, dude. I've been like when I'm driving home from work and I pass Taco Bell and Wendy's and all these places that I like, and you're sitting there's this light by where all these are at, and I have to pass it to go home, and I'm sitting at the light with my window down, and Arby's was right there at the light, and I could smell the food. I don't know what it was. It smelled delicious though.
I feel like there are some legit kind of quote unquote hunger pains, not the literal meaning, but when you're dieting and you have to start cutting stuff out, it just hurts.
Yeah.
To see it and smell it.
Yeah. It also it gets boring eating the same things every day, during the week. Because I give myself Saturdays to kind of eat whatever I want. It's like a reward.
Yeah.
But this is my meals every day. I have egg white wrap on a low carb wrap and a banana every day for breakfast. That's my breakfast. For lunch, I eat some sort of wrap, whether it's like a turkey wrap or another breakfast type wrap. For lunch, or a salad. I'll pack myself a salad sometimes, with some meat in it somewhere, so I'm so it's not just lettuce in a bowl, right? And then when I get home, I will have a salad with chicken in it, and or some sort of other vegetable, and that's what I eat for the day.
Yeah, that can get boring fast. I can totally understand.
Yeah.
You do load it up with dressing, right?
Not a lot. I measure it out, actually. I do put more than I should have on it though, but whatever, it's fine. I'm just going to keep doing this while it's working, and when it stops working, I will I don't know, get fat again, I guess. Anyways, we're not here to talk about me. Patrick Klein, you had a topic that you wanted to discuss.
Nah, I just want to rant.
Okay. Rant.
Guys,
rant.
I don't understand women.
I don't either.
I am 40 years old and I am single as fuck. And I try to put myself out there, and I get mixed signals, and I don't like it, and I don't know what to do because I don't want to cross that line where it's pestering or, coming off as pestering, I guess. But at the same time, it's I don't know, I want closure, or, I don't want to be ghosted. I want someone to just tell me straight up no.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. That never happens, unfortunately.
So,
listen,
anyways,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was going to say, so the story, there's this girl that, I kind of like, and, we've talked sometimes, and, she's one of those, extreme introverted kind of people as well. And, her idea of fun is, learning new things. And she's interesting. I feel almost like a kindred spirit with her. And so I talked to her, and I thought we were doing great, and now she doesn't reply to half my messages. And when I finally asked her last week, I'm like, hey, Are you not replying because you're busy, or am I, annoying you? Because if I am annoying you, I will immediately stop. And she responded, "Oh no, it's you're fine. Like you're not bugging me at all." And it's like, Okay, then why aren't you talking to me?
Did you actually ask that?
No, in my mind,
Oh.
I'm like, well, why aren't you talking to me? I don't know.
Yeah, it's man,
It's like
it's
she gives me, I get the signal like, oh yeah, no, we're great, there's nothing wrong between us. But then, like, when today, I decided to just take the step and say, hey, there's this like thing happening, and I was wondering if you would like to go out to it. And I haven't heard back.
That was today?
That was today.
Okay. Has there been any actual dates yet, or is this more still like very preliminary, getting a
It's
feel
very
for this?
preliminary.
Okay.
You know, I work with her, so
Mhm.
that's where I know her. And like I've given her rides back to her place several times. She one time when she got like really drunk, she called me, and I took her home. And a month ago we went to like I took her to the grocery store, and like I thought we like had a good connection at the grocery store while we were talking. And like now, honestly, like right now it's our budget season, which yeah, it's busy, but at the same time it's like I've asked her stuff and she's like, oh yeah, I'll tell you later, or she just doesn't tell me at all. And it's like, well, when's later? Like we were supposed to go and get some coffee, and we haven't done that even.
Has there been any sort of conversation about relationships? Not necessarily between you two, but some people like to feel a situation like, "Oh, I'm single and I'm not meeting anyone," or "What's your type?" Like that weird beat around the bush type conversations. Like, what?
Yeah, she was a little bit on the drunk side during that conversation.
No, dead, but
But I do
truths
know
come
she was
out.
single, and she's also Jewish.
my wife's Jewish.
Yeah, apparently, Jews and non-Jews aren't supposed to get together,
Is that what she said?
especially not have kids.
Oh well, I
I don't know.
fucked that one
Apparently,
up.
that's like one of the higher covenants that you want to at least try to keep, is to keep the Jewish bloodline pure.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did not know. Like, I know that they're just generally speaking, like Catholic and Jew and Catholic and Islam, Jew. Like, like the big ones, and they're fighting for you have to raise your kid with that religion type thing, but I didn't realize there was a
Judaism
bloodline
is
thing.
definitely about the bloodline.
Yeah.
Is she a
Like
very religious Jew?
if a man is a Jew and the wife is not a Jew, the kids are not considered Jewish.
Hmm.
But the woman
Yikes.
is a Jew and the man's not. The kids are Jewish. Like it's got to come from the mom.
Okay, so there's no problem there, right?
That's what I was starting to think. I'm like, yeah, but it's like they still kind of want it to be a Jew on Jew.
Sorry, just the way it's worded. Jew on Jew.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, what I learned, especially from like the uh, the people that work at the synagogue down the street, which is the one we go to when we go to things. We don't like go to like service or anything, but like a lot of the time they'll have like a community dinner or like kids play together time or whatever, and it's they're really like almost orthodox. Like they don't show their arms or their legs. They
oh,
wear like sweaters and tights or pants year round. Uh, the I guess the quote unquote head of the family has 8 kids.
Hmm.
The the one daughter just had her fifth kid. Like like you don't get do birth control. You don't stop having kids because it's about resupplying the bloodline, like Pat said.
Yeah.
yikes.
Don't worry, my wife and I said we're done. Two's enough.
Hey, you know what? If whoever can afford 5 children in 2023, good for you, because I know I could not.
Yeah, can
Well,
barely
okay,
afford the
so
two I have.
so I will truncate my response here because as a woman, I generally do not understand women. So I kind of feel like I'm not the right person to give you womanly advice because if as you could tell, majority of my friends are actually male because I don't know, I'm a tomboy slash think a little bit more like a guy, and all the female friends I have left me because they've met a guy and they just drop all their friends or they go crazy. Like I've been not a victim of a romantic crazy blow up, but a friendship crazy blow up. Like there's like completely irrational blow ups that I still to this day do not understand. I've lost several friends in that manner. So I do not understand women as well, but I think part of it is just figuring out her as an individual because there are some women that actually are very rational and down to earth. Does she appear to be a down to earth person, or does she unfortunately fall into a stereotype of a typical
I
modern female?
I know she definitely deals with things, social anxiety, and she is the kind of person that will flake out of going somewhere.
Hmm.
Okay,
She
but that
she's
seems
told me that herself. She will find excuses to get out of things
okay.
like social events.
I think there's something to be said though that she is upfront with people about it, and the fact that she's actually told you this, because I feel like if someone's trying to be cagey to
Again,
someone,
that was under alcohol.
then we know it's true.
that's that's how I understand a lot of people. It's like when they tell me something when they're drunk or drinking,
Yeah.
there's usually truth behind it.
Yeah. Dating and romance has always been complicated, but as we grow older in age, that complicates things. And in the modern day and age, when I'm more talking about online dating, that is a shit show altogether.
Jesus, yeah, that's
Um, One guy that I went on a couple dates with didn't work out, but it was a great conversation. It's like he said it was like the Netflix effect with online dating with you just keep scrolling because you think you'll find something better anyway or things are disposable. So at least I don't think you're necessarily dealing with that type of situation because you're actually you see this person, right? On the
when
regular.
she yeah when she comes to the office.
I wonder if part of maybe what is on her mind, if it is on her mind, is the fact that you guys have a work like a coworker or working relationship. And I know some people have a concern about romantic
Yeah,
exchanges with a coworker.
Yeah, I dated a lot of girls like that when I worked at the restaurant, right? Like we all kind of worked together. Now, granted, different situation because they're all big sluts, but you know what I mean. Like it's
hmm
like it's like anybody that we wanted to hang out or do whatever, right? Like it's we had to keep it
The
on the
DL.
DL
yeah,
because you know, when you're dating a coworker, you have to sign all these papers and like do the thing and be like, you're not going to ruin the restaurant if you're fighting, type thing, or whatever.
yeah.
You're not going to fight while you're here, or whatever. And that I mean, that got real old. But like in terms of even like what Stephanie said with online dating, like there are definitely like 3 or 4 that I met online that didn't work out. One catfished me, 1,000% catfished me. And like I was about to end my subscription and I did, but I had like a month left or whatever because I had just paid it. So I was like, whatever, I'll just try one more time. And I met my wife online. So and that worked out. I guess if I was a baseball player, I would have been a Hall of Famer for hitting you know, one out
You
of
you were a
4 or 5.
closer,
Uh
closer.
So I
but
mean,
hmm
yeah. So it depends. Like there's some people that have no problems with a relationship with someone that they work with, and other people just avoid it altogether. So it's one factor. I don't know if you're able to kind of
I'm
get a
trying like to
feel.
get a time where we could just talk,
mhm.
and that's the thing, like she says she's busy, and it's like, is she busy or is she avoiding me? Like, I would love to just like sit down, have a coffee, and talk.
Yeah.
Didn't you say to me once, Pat? I don't know if this is the same person that you said I'm gonna try being a dick, and I mean that like
Or like
maybe
not
pull back.
talking to her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like in quotes, right? Like not be a real
Mhm.
dick, but being a quote unquote dick by pulling back a little bit to see. Because unfortunately, sometimes that works with women. Is once you
Yeah,
stop paying attention, they're like, "Hey, hey, hey, where you going? Where you going?"
Yeah,
no, that didn't
I
really
would
work.
like,
Didn't work. Okay.
Mm.
yeah. I mean, there were definitely girls that I tried to date that I did that, and like a week later, they would be like, "Hey, I haven't talked to you in a while," and be like, "No shit." But like obviously they're just like, I had a really weird dating life, especially when I worked at the restaurant, and I've had finally found somebody outside the restaurant, and then uh, that was a great relationship, but it something terrible happened, and then I went through this phase where I just started treating every girl like shit because I like was in a lot of pain from that, and so I was, let's say, between the ages of hmm, 25 and 27 ish. I don't know. When did I meet my wife? 2014. I don't know. 9 years. Math is hard. I would say 23 to 25 ish. Like, I was just a terrible person. Even when I met my wife, I was like, I didn't think it was going to last, you know, honestly, because I had just such bad relationships and I was not the greatest person. And
Okay.
so that, I mean, dating is weird for me, but
Well, we all go through it one way or the other. Pat, when you pulled back a little bit, like how long did you do that for? Not to get into the nitty gritty, but sometimes the details kind of are important.
I don't know, somewhere between a couple days and a week. I
Okay.
think we had to talk something work related, but I
Okay.
don't know. Like I,
um,
I don't know. It's like I consider myself a nice guy, not like the nice guy like I expect something by doing nice things. Like, I take care of my mom. I, put other people first. Like I will put aside my work to help someone else get their work done. Even if it means my work gets late. Like I don't know. I, I don't consider myself a horrible catch. I'm not the best looking for sure. Like I'm fat and balding, but at the same time, it's
if it makes
like,
you feel better, Pat, I'm already bald. That's why I wear a hat on every show.
that's why I have long hair right now. But I'm thinking about completely shaving it. See if that hides the baldness. You can't hide, or you can't be hiding baldness if it's already bald.
It's true.
But I don't know. It's like I feel like I would be a good husband or a boyfriend or something. I don't know, but I'm
Do you
just like never given the chance.
do you think, and I'll get to explain this in a second, that she senses that you might be too eager?
I don't know. Like,
Because sometimes there's that thing too where if a very nice guy is very eager for some bizarre reason and I cannot explain it or justify it, it might drive some women kind of away. I know that there have been points in my life where I didn't even realize that was happening to me, but some very, very wonderful men, very nice guys, like would treat their partners like gold. I would end up eventually just really just not on purpose. Like I don't even think I was consciously aware of doing it at that time
yeah,
where I'm like, too much, too much, too much nice. I don't know why. I just only realize that now after years of it happening. I'm not saying that that's exactly what's occurring
no,
right
it
now,
it might be. I
but that
mean,
that doesn't mean that you have to go being a jerk either. It's just kind of like maybe do that dial back thing again, but just be maybe, and I hate saying this because I'm very bad at following my own advice, is
mm,
being a bit more patient. Is she going anywhere? Doesn't seem like it, you know. And then when that time naturally comes along, because all things being equal, there will be a time where you will be alone with her and have that chance to talk. So if it doesn't seem like you're too eager to not force the situation is bad words, but because it's late at night, just let me use those words. Force the situation.
Yeah.
Maybe you might have better results. It just might take longer.
No, I mean that's true.
Yeah, and like,
I'm just lonely. That's why I feel like
Mm.
maybe am coming off as eager.
yeah, I understand how you feel because I did that for a while too. Especially like late high school, early college. Like I was definitely, I always some reason I just always wanted somebody around. I mean, it didn't matter if we were compatible or not, and that put me in some very terrible relationships. Like especially the one I had before I met my wife. Right, like that whole relationship was just terrible. Uh, but I mean, it's hard not to feel that way, right? Like especially if you've been single for a while, it's
Mhm.
like it's really hard not to feel that way. Um, and I don't really know what the answer is to that, except that like it ends eventually, you know. And I don't know. I honestly think the reason why I signed up for online dating was because I mean, yeah, you can just scroll past because something might be better, but like you can also pick. It's easier to kind of like pick and choose like personality types or you know what kind of person you're looking for, and if you guys are compatible. They show compatibility ratings now, and it's like I don't know. I felt it easier to just connect with people by looking at what their what profiles said and what they're into, and you know where they're from or like what religion they are or if what kind of things they're into. I felt like that was the easiest way to go for me, but then you run that risk of people not being who they say they are, and that's always hard too, to the point where I actually left a date because somebody showed up and it wasn't who was in the picture. um, which
Was
was
it a
fun,
dude?
which was sad because I was really looking forward to Chili's that night. So
Was it just like very old pictures?
I I don't think so, because the
Like
person
this?
the person in the pictures was like this like small like thin tan redhead, like really pretty and doing cool stuff in her profile pictures, and somebody that showed up was like and I'm not like this is not me trying to be mean, but like this person was like almost as big as me and like blonde and pale and like the complete opposite of the pictures that were there, right? And that like really clearly I didn't
Like
want to
any
be there.
resemblance to the person in the
No,
picture? Or none?
zero.
Okay.
No. What was that person expecting? Sorry. Anyway, but
I don't know.
Yeah, I would love to find just to experiment to just find a stock image of a really good looking guy and just slap that as a profile picture
You can use
just to see
mine.
what the response is.
uh,
ayo.
Uh,
I kid. Uh,
but
but I mean, that's the risk you run. But I mean, I also met some really cool people in on that too. But it just like didn't click. You know what I mean? So there are
Mm.
cool people and people to connect with, but like sometimes it's just that like that spark's just not there.
Well, we live in an increasingly lonely world with the irony that we have more connectivity with technology, but we do live in an increasingly lonely world. Um, I'm not trying to be a pessimist, but I do feel like a lot of people, women included, tend to focus more on superficiality because I have a lot of guy friends. I always hear them talking about like one guy, he's in his 40s. He's a nice, really sweet guy. Like, oh my gosh, what a sweet honeybee, such a nice dude. Um, he deserves the world, but every person he goes on a date on, these women take advantage of him, makes him pay for everything, don't give nothing back. And I'm not just talking about like sex, but just generally speaking, just take them for a ride. They have them pay for everything. They're like, no, well, they either
Mhm.
ghost him or tell him, well, there's nothing I can offer you right now. And the poor guy's like, I'm gonna say, and I see that, and I'm like, it is increasingly a struggle for nice people, men and women. And Pat, no, I think we're the same. I forget Meyer Briggs INFJ thing.
Yep.
Uh,
We're the
hard.
advocate.
It's hard to find. I don't know. And I'm sure that I wonder if this thought has crossed your mind because it's crossed in my mind throughout many of my years. Is like, what's wrong with me? Is there something wrong with me?
Know there's something wrong with me.
Mhm.
I can't agree because I would think that all the time. Maybe it took years of therapy to think, no, there's something wrong with everybody else. I don't know. Oh.
Uh, I can't say that I haven't done that though, like ghost someone or just like, you know. So short story. Um, I was talking. This was like the online dating story. I was talking to this one girl uh, right before I met my wife, and we were talking. We went out on 2 dates or whatever, and she like it was that thing of like, I really like you, but I don't know. Do you feel anything? I'm like, well, I mean, I'm a mid-20s guy. I think you're hot. Of course, I'm feeling something. I don't know. It's probably not the right thing, but uh,
Feeling
It's like I'm
something.
feeling something down there.
uh, but like, I was like, I was trying to be nice about it, right? Because I did kind of like her, but like, I was like, you think about it. If you are into it or whatever, you can message me back. I don't want to push you away. You don't want to go or whatever. And then she at that point, like probably like a week later or so, I like was talking to my wife. My we hadn't even gone on a date yet, but we were talking, and we went out, and I really liked my clearly I liked my wife, and the other girl was like texting me back, and I was like, I'm ghosting you. I don't need you now. and I mean, that's probably the wrong thing to do. And the hilarious thing is like the last time we went to something at the library, like the library that's by our house, she was there with her husband and her kid.
Oh, look at that.
I was like, oh, I know. Like at first, I was like, I know you from somewhere, and then like everybody had name tags on, and I recognized the name. I was like, oh shit, don't recognize me. I don't need this. Even though it was like 8 or 9 years later, like who fucking cares at that point? But like
It's like I
it,
gained 100 pounds and
it was
bald
awkward.
now. She won't know me.
I was like, this is awkward.
No.
Well, Pat, I know it's discouraging, but I do, from everything you've told me so far, I don't think it's a lost cause or anything, given the fact that she disclosed to you alcohol as the reason why or not doesn't matter, but the fact that she disclosed to you that she does have social anxiety, she might bail or flake on things when, I don't know, maybe she feels up against it. I feel that there are some real reasons why she might kind of be a little hot and cold a bit. I don't see any signs where it's necessarily a lost cause, but seems like she might be the type of person that takes a bit more time. So you definitely still should be bring it up and be upfront when that time comes, but be patient about when that time comes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and
Or try.
also
Try.
yeah, and also, I mean, Stephanie, you might be able to speak to this more than I can because I'm not a woman, but like I know that this happened to women I've dated, and it's happened to me 1,000 times. Well, that not 1,000 times, but you know what I mean, like a lot, where like I make things way more complicated than they have to be. And I think that's why people aren't truthful. They just feel better ghosting or not saying the truth, or they don't know how to express the truth if they feel the same way or different either way.
Mm.
Um, and so she might be going through her head of like, you know, I like him, but what do I do? Is work going to get involved? Is, you know, it, those types of things, right? And so, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
she could be overcomplicating things in her head because of stuff like that, especially if she has social anxiety and she has to think about a work relationship might complicating things. Like she might be kind of eh, yeah, it might be like a like a laundry machine up in her head, kind of spinning her thoughts, which I totally could too. I definitely overcomplicate things in my head. So by providing a slow-paced environment about it, she will kind of eventually get there in time, in her own time.
mhm.
So you're saying I should quit my job?
No.
Find a new job, ask her out. If she says no, reapply, and you'll be fine.
Be like it
Then if
didn't
she's
work out.
uncomfortable there, then she'll quit and find a new job. And then, you know,
Hmm. No,
wipe my hands of
yeah.
it. Whoop, whoop.
So I should probably not ask about what I um the this event thing that I wanted to go to with her again, right?
Oh, so let's yeah, let's loop back to that. So what is this, a work related event or a
No,
non-work related?
it's a non-work related event.
Is it a fun
It,
thing?
yeah, it's called China Lights, and it's basically these gigantic lit up displays, various like you know the Chinese kind of like floats or like
Nice lanterns or whatever.
lanterns. Yeah, definitely
Yep.
lanterns and stuff like that.
Cool.
And then
When
they
is it?
have like shows and stuff. Hmm.
When is it?
It is now through the end of October.
When were you planning on wanting to go with her? Do you have like tickets for an exact day or is it just
No, just some time weekend, like in October, probably, because you know, the later it gets in the year, the earlier it gets dark. So we wouldn't have to be there, super late to be able to see the lights in their full glory.
okay?
You know what I mean?
No, bring it up again. So you asked today, let it slide for the night. Well, it's almost the end of the night anyway.
Hmm.
When do you think you'll see her in person next?
Probably next week,
All right,
because yeah, I'm
Yeah.
working from home for the rest of the week.
wait till next week.
Yeah.
See
I
her in
w-
person, ask.
I
In
almost wouldn't
person.
say anything to her that's not work related until then either.
Hmm.
Okay.
Just to, you know, because if she responds, that means she's thinking about you, right? I mean, if she like texts you
Yeah.
because you haven't heard from her, you know,
Hmm.
Hmm.
um, and then
And
if oh, go ahead, Steph.
oh well, you finish first. It's fine.
And I was just gonna say like if she doesn't say anything and you see her at work, like just kind of I guess like body language says a lot. Um, I don't know. I mean, just jump in feet first.
That's a good point. Body language, real quick. Like, have you noticed any promising body languages during sober time?
Just her usual awkwardness, I guess.
Is she an awkward person by nature?
Yes.
Got it.
Mm,
She's one of the people that walks hunched, and like always kind of like
Okay, so
tight.
she might be having her own worries and concerns about engaging in a relationship with someone. We don't know what her dating history is like. Um,
No, I don't.
so I agree with Corey. Yeah, like don't really engage much in conversation unless it's work related for the rest of the week. Not as a punishment to her or anything, not because it's playing a game. It's just you asked, you put it out there. There
Hmm.
might be a legitimate reason why she hasn't gotten back to you yet. It might not even because she doesn't want to go. She might just be like, "Oh, I don't know what to do." Like, especially if she's kind of got that personality where she might be a little bit awkward or anxious, which is fine.
Yeah.
And then when you see in person next, yeah, scope out the body language. Maybe bring it up again, be like, oh, blah 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 work. Oh, by the way, did you have a chance to think about if you're interested in going to the lights thing? I was thinking of going this weekend, or like start putting like a
Yeah.
particular date there. Because if it's like, are you interested or not? She might kick that ball down the road till there's no more time left.
Oh,
Hmm.
she would definitely do that.
So give her the time so it doesn't feel like you're breathing down her neck. But then the next time, it's like try to now narrow it down the field.
Yeah.
Okay.
The the other thing that I want to throw out there that we haven't talked about yet, like what if she's dated someone or went out with someone and something, tragic or something like, you know, maybe she got assaulted, maybe she, had a terrible experience, maybe somebody took advantage of her while she was drunk at a party, like, you know what I mean? Maybe there's that kind of stuff involved too.
Yeah. No,
Not,
and I would love to know that.
mhm.
If there's something there, I would love to be aware so that I would not put her in that situation ever, or let her even remotely feel that way around me.
Yeah.
True. But if that were to happen, that might take some time.
Yeah.
I know I don't voluntarily offer up that information of what's happened to me to people. Um, but if she's reached out to you for like help with things or been her ride when she drank too much, there's an established trust there. She might be a little socially anxious and awkward, but out of all people, and being able to transport her when she's inebriated, that's a level of trust. I wouldn't call on someone I did not trust if to bring me home.
Yeah, especially like a woman to call a guy,
Yeah.
like that's a big kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um yeah, I just to whatever, like I had a friend, we had been friends since like high school. Um and when she moved away for a while and like she was very badly taken advantage of and you know sexually assaulted and all that kind of thing. And I like I liked her and I knew all this had come up, right? Like all this had happened. And like I was really trying to be like, I mean, this was like 15 years ago at some point, but like I really liked her. I was like, look, I just want to hang out. It doesn't have to be like a quote unquote date or whatever. And it took like 3 months for her to agree to it. And we had known each other like for a long time. And like she finally agreed to it. We were hanging out, right? Like we were like, I don't know, watching a movie or something. And at one point, like she like put her head on my shoulder and like I put my arm around her and she freaked out. She freaked the fuck out. And like she got like really, I don't know if she was angry, but she was like yelling and like, maybe she had like was having like PTSD, like mental attack or something, and she like left. She just left without saying bye, without and like
Mm,
I'm I was like I had already prepared myself for something like that to happen, but I still felt really bad, you know.
Yeah.
So I texted her and said, "Hey, I know tonight was maybe rough, but I just want to make sure you got home okay or whatever." And then we had a conversation. She was like, "I'm not ready for anything. I can't." And she was like, "I still want to be friends because we've been friends for such a long time. And it's not that I don't like you. It's just I'm still
Mhm.
going through all that trauma and therapy and whatever." And I was like, "That's fine. I mean,
mhm,
it's
Yeah.
fine."
I should probably also preface this with this girl. Like, yeah, I'm interested in her, but I also just want to be her friend too. Like, I don't care if we go to the lights as a date or as, friends. I want to get to know her and hang out with her.
Hmm.
Because I don't know. Like, I have these feelings about various people, and like, there's like a connection there, and
mhm.
I don't know. Like, maybe. maybe I could be good for her. Maybe she could be good for me.
Hey, it's all part of
Like,
the discovery process of deepening friendship, maybe relationship or not relationship. But I feel like this same similar rules would still apply. Like because of her personality type, not that I know her, I
yeah.
talk like I act like I know her.
Best
Maybe
friends.
Mhm.
maybe she also needs the same amount of time to make a deep friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe she gets anxious when people start getting like super super nice to her, which one would be like, "What's wrong with that?" But some people just kind of
No, I mean, I understand it. A lot of nice guys are not nice guys, it's and so that's a lot of burn, especially when there is one of those nice guys that, you know,
Yeah.
don't like th- think that they're expected to get sex, and when it doesn't go their way, they all of a sudden just like, bitch,
yeah.
I put so much time into you. You should be, fucking grateful. And it's like,
No, you have true blue intentions, and I feel like as long as you kind of give her whatever space she needs based on her personality, which I'm not
mhm,
saying you haven't, but just maybe try not to overthink it, and I feel like things will go naturally. You'll get to know her more, whether it be a friend or a romantic partner.
yeah.
Yeah. Um,
I'm super sensitive. Like Corey, you can probably tell when I'm a bit edgy. Especially when it comes to even just friends, let alone like in a relationship level. When I have people I consider my friends and I don't like communicate with them as much like on a day, then I get like super upset and they're like, they don't want to be my friends anymore. Like I'm kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Mm.
yeah. I mean, even in our group chat, sometimes stuff you're like if like we don't reply to the
Yep.
group chat like in like half a day, Stephanie's like, "Is everybody okay? I feel like something's wrong."
Yep. See and that's the example. Like Corey, I knew you were gonna think about it. Like I recognize that in myself. And that doesn't mean that maybe the Corey and Laurent don't want to be my friends anymore. But in the moment, maybe it's the crazy part of my girl's mind, or maybe it's just a personality, not a gender thing, where I'm just like, ah, jumping to conclusions in three, two, one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of like that too, Steph. But like it's like a different way where like I know when I text things, sometimes it comes off as like rude or mean or like sometimes I type fast. I type what I'm thinking instead of just thinking about it. And it's like probably should have said that different or added a smiley face emoji to make people think that I'm not upset. Like
God bless the
this is
emoji.
this is a serious thing for me though with texting is like if there's not an emoji attached, I think someone's mad at me, right? Like if there's not some sort of like exclamation point or emoji or like yay or
I
lol
actually
after it, I'm like, so what did I
I
what
do
did I
that with
do?
my work emails too. Like when I end my work emails with thanks, but if I'm starting to get annoyed at someone, I don't put the explanation point. I put a comma after thanks.
Hmm. Yeah, man, work emails are fun, aren't they?
Mm,
They are.
Hmm.
overthinking how my tone is and
Hmm.
everything.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
keep us posted. We care a lot. I want it to go well one way or the other. Life's too short to feel lonely. Occasionally get sweeping waves of loneliness. It's a bitch of an emotion to feel. Um,
It
yeah,
is.
yeah. Keep us updated. We're Team Pat.
yeah,
Team
Team
Pat. I'm
Pat.
making shirts. Everybody gets one.
W-
Team PK Power.
PK
Yeah.
power.
Oh man, that's a good idea for a shirt.
Mm.
I need to get on new designs. But
We need caricatures.
Oh,
I actually tried to do that for us once, and it was going to cost us over $1,000. And I was like, no.
Son of a.
yeah.
Good thing Stoy had a friend for free.
Yeah, and that was only four of us. That was Stephanie, Laurent, Ed, and me. And they were like, "Yeah, it's going to cost like $250 a head." And I'm like, "No."
Listen, my son has reinvigorated my illustration side of myself. It's a maybe I'll save it for another after dark, but he just kind of been like, "Mommy, why'd you stop drawing comics?" I'm like, good question. And I'm gonna save up money to get a nice art software for my computer. And if I ever get there, I'll do it on the house.
Yeah, it's it's just like it's that missing hobby that I love, but like so side tangent, I guess, and then we'll wrap up. But like my daughter's really into art, and like she like draws, paints, crafts, invents
Mhm.
things, comes up with great ideas, and she's like, Daddy, do you draw pictures?
Oh,
And I'm like, yeah, and then I think about it, I'm like, I haven't drawn anything significant since like I don't know 2012 or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, Bug, I used to. She's like, well, why did you stop? I'm like, Daddy's
Because
just
drawings
busy and
don't pay
can't
the
get to it
bills.
sometimes. And then I'm like, last year I was like, you know what? I'm gonna draw again. And so I bought all these art supplies. I bought like the Prismacolor colored pencils that I used to buy when I was in college and art school and stuff, and the light board for like for like tracing, and like the nice like I bought, how you see pictures online of like the tan paper and people are drawing with black and white pencils. I bought all that, and it's still sitting in this table behind me, and I'm like, man, and this was like a year and a half ago.
it's tough, but it's kids, man. Like they ask the tough questions, right?
Hmm.
But remind me to talk to you about it at some point offline, because art was your major, right? Like you're big
Yeah.
art person, and if I am gonna take that up eventually,
Hmm.
I want to maybe get your ideas and like, because last time I drew seriously, there wasn't a lot of online software. Like I did everything by hand.
Hmm.
I illustrated by hand, colored by hand. The only thing I didn't do by hand was in manga and comics, it's like those special effect backgrounds. I forgot what they call it, but other than
Yeah.
that, everything else was by hand.
Yeah, it
Shading
was.
by hand.
Yeah. I mean,
Everything's digital now.
yeah. I mean, I was looking at I used to put my art portfolio on my Facebook page, and I was looking at that the other day. I'm like, man, let's see here. The last thing I drew was 2012.
Mm.
Uh, so that was neat. So,
I used
you
to
got,
love drawing.
if you guys
And
want to look
then
at
my
it,
stepmom was like, drawing doesn't put
Yeah,
drawing's not a career.
yeah.
It's like, okay.
also half
It's
of these are gone because fire in my apartment. So that's not.
oh, so cool.
Yeah, those are nice.
Also,
Bob Marley.
yeah, I painted that for my friend for his birthday because he was like obsessed with Bob Marley. I mean, every college kid, I guess, is like when you're from like the age of like 19 to 25 or whatever. So,
No, these are good.
Yeah, dude.
all right. Well, I guess we could get out of here. Unless anybody has anything else, we have been going for almost an hour. So,
No, that was a good chat.
yeah, Pat, we're here for you.
Appreciate it, guys.
And everybody listening, we're here for you as well. I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening to this episode of Boss Rush After Dark. Hopefully, Laurent is back. His internet issues get fixed. For a tech guy, man, he sure has a lot of tech issues. This guy.
More tech, more problems.
Yeah. Stephanie, Pat, I appreciate your time tonight as always. You can find all of our content on our YouTube channel on bossrush.net. If you want this episode 2 weeks early, you can get it 2 weeks early on our Patreon for as little as $1 a month, and a bunch of other great things. So I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening, and until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
We love
Bye.
you.
If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia, and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Deering, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support.